Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 17 of the 20s Leadership Podcast with me, Lawrence McClelland. Now, today's topic I'm really excited to talk to you about and explore, and I'm going to talk about this amazing concept that I've probably been aware of, but something that I feel has been extremely powerful over the last few days for myself in particular. Now, this topic is about praising yourself. It's about utilizing the power of our mind to make sure that we are becoming the best version of ourselves that we can be. Now, there is a lot of self improvement, self help, self care material out there that we can utilize in our own way, but the power of our thoughts are a lot more constant and definitely a tool that we don't utilize enough. Now, when I first talk about this, the first kind of thing that springs to mind is the over enthusiastic, over optimistic American dream stereotype. Now, there's elements of this that I have embraced, and there's elements of it that just don't work or fit for me. I do believe that the culture or environment that you consume or you are in for the majority of the time is something that you simply become a part of. When I coached in America for a few summers, I bought into a lot of the positivity that existed out there. And when Anna and I were recently in Costa Rica, I completely bought into the values that they had over there, their phrase or mantra being pura vida, which ultimately means pure life, and just having that massive gratitude for life. Now, you live this for a few weeks after you come back from wherever you are, but then you simply fall back into what you initially were before. Now, I'm not saying that the environments that we are in are negative. You know, I've had some absolutely fantastic bosses over the last or throughout my career. I've had some great teachers. I've had some great coaches, and I believe that recognizing this is important. However, at the end of the day, it is always ourselves that impact on ourselves. And this is why I want to talk to you about the power of praising ourselves. We need to be our biggest supporter because more often than not, we end up being negative whenever we get the opportunity to. Let me give you an example. Let's say I'm massively a person that buzzes off of getting praise and recognition. It's what motivates me to strive more, to be better. I understand that there are elements of this that can lead to complacency, but that totally depends on the type of person. It's up to the manager or coach to decide and understand that individual and how they work. Now, the example I want to give you about being praised and recognized is whenever we get praised or recognized, how many times in your when you're in this situation have you ever responded to that with an element of modesty, but that modesty bringing you down? You know, for instance, someone praises you for the great piece of work that you did. You acknowledge it and then you say, but maybe it could have been a bit better. Or could I have done this to improve it? Or yes, but it wasn't as good as last time, for example. Now, I can think of numerous examples of that happening to myself because, yes, there's elements of modesty there, but it's almost as if I'm not worthy enough to get that praise. I can't quite explain exactly why that happens, but there is an element of that environment impacting on that as well because I've seen others do that, or when I've reacted in a certain way, it's made me think, like this, that's being a negative on me. So next time I get that opportunity, I'm definitely going to acknowledge it politely and gratefully, because whenever somebody reaches out to provide this praise or recognition, that's time out of their day. They don't need to do that. And when it's genuine and sincere, then fantastic. You're gaining respect for that. However, the most important thing in this situation, which I would really like you to take away from this, is the follow up on yourself. The praise that you should be giving yourself in these situations, as well as the situations where things haven't gone so well. You need to be your number one fan. You need to be the person backing yourself. And to take you on to a little story yesterday, Anna and I have been training for a half marathon, which is coming up tomorrow, which is going to be great. We've trained really consistently for it, and it's been something that we've worked hard towards. Now, there's elements of during training where we maybe recognise and think, oh, maybe could have gone for an extra kilometre tonight, or, was resting tonight the right decision? And this doubt creeping in, or this self-criticism sort of setting in when maybe it's unjust. But we did a short run yesterday. We went for about 6 kilometres, and the first bit I was feeling good, and then when we got about halfway through, my body started to feel a bit heavier, and I was ultimately thinking, is this something that I've done well enough at? And because I've been surrounding myself with this content about the power of the mind this week, it instantly I was thinking, right, stop thinking that right now. I need to be thinking of the excellent work that we have been doing to consistently turn up, to run when we feel like we don't want to run, when we are running further consistently after a hard day of work, when we didn't have to do that. And we've done that for about 4 to 5 months now. You've done fantastic. You've been great at doing this. And think of all the great feelings you're going to have at the end of this, that you will have earned, that you will have put the hard miles in for, and all that time and effort that's being recognised by everybody else. You will also be inspiring other people to do something like this. And that's a great achievement for you to do. Now, instantly, I'm uplifted. Yes, it might sound a bit wishy-washy. It might sound a bit false in a sense. But because it's coming from me, and my mind and thoughts are being very objective with this information, I'm instantly feeling positive. That last half of the run, I felt fantastic. So let me ask you this, why can this not apply to everything else that we do? Why can this not apply to a job or a task that we're doing at work? Why can this not apply to any exercise that we do? Why can this not apply to anything at home that we are maybe doing on a regular basis? Because this praising ourselves is an important aspect and habit to create going forward. If we're not our number one fan, everything else that anybody says is not going to have as much impact as what we can tell ourselves. Of course, there's going to be this aspect of a reality check when you do need to recognise that you need to work that little bit harder, or you do need to put in some extra hours, or whatever it is with the task that you're doing. But these reality checks and pain points and areas for improvement, we're good at recognising those. We don't need to worry about that. When that comes up, we will deal with that. But the key message here tonight is the aspect of recognizing when we should praise ourselves. When we should praise ourselves, how often we should praise ourselves, and making note of that feeling that we get from it. I would advise that you give yourself a shot at this now. Could be anything that you've been doing recently, career-wise, at home, family or friends, with exercise. It can be applicable across all the boards. With all my network, I could go out and praise them and tell them how much I'm admiring them for what they're doing, but I also want them to encourage them to be doing this praising of themselves as well, because it's incredibly powerful, and over the long term I think it's something that really excites me with the impact that it could make. That's everything for this episode, guys, and look, I've really enjoyed talking about it. I really believe in the power of this stuff, and I certainly hope it could be of benefit to you. Start doing it just once, see how it makes you feel, note how it makes you feel, and then try it again when the time suits. See what works, see what doesn't work, trial and error, and let me know how you got on. I'm really keen to find out about all the information and things that I'm giving you and how that's impacting on you. I want to hear the problems that you have. I want to hear about the successes that you have. And I ultimately want to inspire and help you become the best version of yourself that you can be. So reach out, let me know how you get on, and I'm all ears to hearing about your experiences. Thanks very much for listening, and we'll catch up again soon. Cheers.